How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Lieutenant Dan, here from Unintentional Grounding Live. Welcome, one and all. Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you all are doing well on the final days of the 2010s. If that doesn't scare you or make you feel old, then I don't know what does. We got a lot to discuss, and I just want to very quickly say to everybody that I apologize for not going live yesterday. During the breaking news that actually came out that we will be discussing today. It didn't feel like I had all the facts. It didn't feel like I had a clear head when I was going to come on here live and talk and discuss. So instead, I went to my Discord to some of my grounders. If you haven't already checked out the Discord, link is in the description of this video. And I went to my Discord, and I had a pretty much all-day discussion with the moderators, with the fans of Unintentional Grounding, with all the grounders that come through that support the channel monetarily, or just hitting that like button, smashing that notification bell, going into the comment section and commenting on my videos, or going over to my Twitch and subscribing or following over there. I had a discussion with all those people, and what happened was my fandom went from being super upset, super mad, super physical with the organization and how they're going to do things to having a level head, and that's what you got to do. You got to have like-minded people or people with viewpoints that may differ slightly from yours so that you could get a better grasp or aspect of what's going on. And as a Falcons fan, not just as a content creator for you guys, but as a Falcons fan in general, it's tough. It's tough to go day by day and not overreact to some of the things that you see online or some of the things that the Falcons do every single day. And that's where that unbiased opinion has to come in, and you have to, kind of settle back and find yourself. So before we really get into the discussion today, I want to go into the chat, and I want to say hi to all the grounders, like I always do with my shows. Rose Stacks and Jason Tran, good to see you guys. Lenore Designs, Rise Up Peeps. Chris Edwards, the undisputed queso in the building. One Carter, good to see my man. Raymond Elder, Brian Smith, good to see you guys. Holy Capes and Crusaders, Batman. I've forgotten tomatoes in my taco. Brian Smith always makes me laugh, man. Cookie by Nature, good to see you. 50 milli RB Blackshare. Jew Talk Sports, what's going on, man? What's going on? How's it going, dude? Blizz818, good to see you. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you share this out to your friends and family and all the Facebook groups that you may follow that are Falcons related. If you have anywhere that you want to share this content out, please, by all means, do feel free to do so. Pantera, what's going on, my man? Rise Up says, hit that like button if you guys wouldn't mind going and hit that like button for me. Man, oh man, we've got some things to talk about. And now that I have a little more of a level head and a clear grasp of the situation and where we are, I'll make it simple. I'll make it sweet. And, well, actually, I won't make it sweet. I'll make it gritty. And I will give it to you exactly how every single other Falcons fan should be giving it to you right now. If you don't understand why they did it, how they did it, the reasons behind the team being what it is, and where the direction the team potentially is going to go, this is pretty much how every Falcons fan should be telling it to you currently. Not saying that the stories won't differ one way or another, or personal feelings won't get in there, or somebody will say something, but I want to lay it down with no controversy. I feel like every grounder and every Falcons fan should be owed that. Unfortunately for Arthur Blank, he tried to make it less controversial and only made it more controversial in its own aspect. So let's kind of get into it this way. I've seen every single Falcons fan that does content about the Atlanta Falcons have an incredible take about this. I've heard angry rants from multiple grounders. I've heard angry rants from multiple content creators that are under the Unintentional Grounding umbrella. I've heard a lot of people have positive thoughts about how this is going down. But if you haven't heard the news, then let me tell you, Arthur Blank and Rich McKay have decided that Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff will be back for the 2020 NFL season. They will be here to be the head coach and the GM. Rich McKay will now be taking a more direct approach. Both Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff will be answering to him, not to Arthur Blank, going forward. Reasons for that are as follows. Arthur Blank said in his presser, and this is one game before the season ends. Arthur Blank says in his presser that he knew that Rich McKay, someone who was much more of a football mind than Arthur was too busy from 2015 until this particular point right now to deal with and or give advice to Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn. It's Blackchair, have a good one, man. Please get some good sleep, my dude. Please, honestly, don't drag yourself. Get some good sleep. I'll definitely talk to you later, my man. It's a situation where Rich McKay, director of football operations, as well as part of the NFL Rules Committee, he has multiple jobs that he has to do, and one of his biggest jobs from 2015 to 2019 was making sure that the Falcons Mercedes-Benz Stadium was built and constructed correctly, that the events went without a hitch, and that the current area around the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the plan to build around it, this giant park and all of these hotels and businesses that will be opening up around the stadium, are built properly and done properly. That was his job. And so for the last couple of years, he's been distracted with that, and that news has come out per Arthur Blank, and he was trying not to embarrass, and he said it directly to McKay, who was sitting next to him. He said, I'm trying not to embarrass him, but this is his job that he's supposed to be handling, and unfortunately something else took him out of the advice giving, the war room in general. He just was not there as a presence, and so now he's back there as a presence. Does that make me feel any better about the situation that Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn have put us in? And I coupled them both together because, as you guys know, my thoughts differ depending on what kind of subject matter you actually want to talk to me about with Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff. My thoughts differ from a very incredibly negative viewpoint all the way to a very optimistic viewpoint, depending on what you're talking about with Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff. Please let me know what you guys think of Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff in the chat. I definitely want you guys to be active today. So with that being said, the more that I looked at, Rich McKay is going to be back, and Rich McKay is going to be helping Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn with their free agents this year. He's going to be helping them with their draft this coming year. And I'm one of the guys that says two things really hit me hard. Arthur Blank has been here this entire time trying to give advice to two football guys when he's not a football guy. I don't care how much you think that Arthur Blank maybe has control or has input on the team and how it's built, but over the past 5 seasons, you can definitely tell that Arthur Blank's hand has been on this, and a football IQ or statistics or data-driven mind has definitely not been there. It's been more or less about heart or feeling or soul or whatever you want to call it, an invisible force that is used by fans and custodians and owners alike that just unfortunately just don't know how to actually put it together. So I feel that. I feel for Arthur Blank being put in a bad situation, but he put himself in that bad situation not having somebody help Rich McKay and allowing him to be there for Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn. That's a problem. The other thing that I want to kind of put down too is that I cannot believe that we're sitting at this point saying that Arthur Blank is bringing back Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn because there's no better options. And I know that continuity is important. And we've heard it from Ricardo Allen. We've heard it from Julio Jones. We've heard it from Matt Ryan. We've heard it from Grady Jarrett. We've heard it from all the team leaders. Every single one of them is playing for Dan Quinn. But Ricardo Allen said it best only a few days ago, where he said the team as a majority is playing for Dan Quinn and to keep him here because he's a leader and he knows what he's doing and he has a good game plan and he's made good decisions with players, with contracts, with how we need to play, and we need to execute. But when I actually sit back and I go, okay, the majority wants to keep Dan Quinn here, but apparently there's a minority that doesn't. And that immediately put me in this funk. That immediately put me in this funk of like, oh, so there's Falcons players that don't want Dan Quinn back. Name yourselves. I mean, you won't, because you don't want the entire media and fan base to come crashing down on you. But I can tell there's probably some guys out there in Flowery Branch that are playing for Atlanta right now that don't want Dan Quinn to come back. They would rather have him fired. They would rather have him gone. They'd rather have, a new head coach to come in here and start it anew, because it would do better for them, the minority versus the majority that knows that they're in the best situation to be able to win games now and potentially go to a Super Bowl now with Dan Quinn. And I understand that. I get that. I'm not here to rag on the players that are in the minority that want to, they want to create this Hyper Bowl. Maybe those players will be released or cut or traded this offseason because they're not all in with the system. That's something that Dabo Swinney, Clemson and Ohio State playing today at 8 o'clock, or 8:30. That's something Dabo Swinney says. If you are here in Clemson, you are all in with this program. If you're not all in with this program, then you can ride the bus, you can ride the pine, or you can go to some other team that actually gives a damn. Because as far as Dabo Swinney is concerned, and it looks like Dan Quinn as well, if you're not all in here, then you're probably not going to get a lot of playing time. Or if we're forced to play you and you're going to be leaving this offseason, good riddance, goodbye. Take it easy. Good, get gone. I cannot sit here and I can't sit here and be like, Thomas Dimitroff hasn't made mistakes. All of you guys know, and girls know, that I'm not a big fan of Thomas Dimitroff. I tried to defend him for the best that I could, and just when it came straight down to it, the common denominators that are here are Arthur Blank and Thomas Dimitroff, and one of them is making bad decisions. And if it's Arthur Blank, coolio. If it's Thomas Dimitroff, hey man, Thomas has got to go. But if Thomas goes, then Dan Quinn goes, so they brought them both back. I don't think they wanted to fire Thomas Dimitroff and start this whole thing all over again. That being said, though, I also cannot overlook the mistakes that Dan Quinn has made, and Arthur Blank made a great point. He said, one of the biggest criticisms that I have of Dan Quinn, and something that he has definitely learned this season and proven that he's learned from, is doing things just a tad too late. Raheem Morris as defensive coordinator, which that has been announced currently. Raheem Morris will be the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons in 2020, and most likely will be taking over duties this Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, against his old team that he used to be the head coach for and defensive coordinator. And Arthur Blank was very straightforward with the criticisms of, hey, they're just players that, square pegs, square holes, round pegs, round holes that should have been in there getting playing time. There should have been players that were put in better positions to succeed, and there should have been coaching staff moves that were made much sooner, much quicker. But I can fault Dan Quinn for not making those moves because he's got tunnel vision. He's doing what he's got to do to keep himself alive while also making the right moves at the right times. But when you step back and you look at the bigger picture, which I don't know if Dan Quinn has had time to do, these moves are simple. These moves are easily thought of. And if you are taking this long to figure out that, oh, I've got too much on my plate and I'm training Jeff Ulbrich in week 6 to try to become a defensive coordinator. I've already got a former defensive coordinator here that plays Tampa 2 defense that could easily help the players benefit what's going on right now, can make them easily better players right now, right at this very moment. Then you've got to make that move. You've got to be able to go, look, I've just got too much on my plate. I've got to be a head coach. I've got to do both sides of the ball and take care of the game-to-game basis, as well as making sure that everybody is on the same page. And a guy like Raheem Morris is here, and he's very good at his job. It should not have taken from week 6 all the way to week 16 to figure out that Raheem Morris is the guy. Like, he should have been in here calling plays. On the other hand, back to Thomas Dimitroff again. I cannot begin to fathom how you look at Thomas Dimitroff and not look at the mistakes that he's made, especially whether or not the pressure was on him from Arthur Blank, making silly moves like James Carpenter and Jamon Brown, who Jamon Brown is not even going to be playing this Sunday. He is inactive. The more I look at it, also Adrian Claiborne will be inactive, so this will be an interesting game. But the more I look at it, the more I say, you took too long to acquire O-linemen. You took too long to acquire defensive linemen. You took too long, whether or not you cherish or treasure those positions, or you highly feel that those positions are on your board. You place them highly on your board. You've got to know when it's just time to take certain player positions and go, we've just got to build trenches. And for years, we have just seen this team just decide not to build through the trenches, not to build this team up, and instead go to free agency and use what is supposed to be a compliment time period, which I'm so weirded out that a compliment time period, a period where you take players that have been in the NFL that don't have a contract any longer, and they're looking for a new team, that you use those players to complement what you're doing, that it comes before the draft. And so that always causes confusion with fan bases, because fan bases are always like, look at all these free agents and they're going to be starters and they're going to be everywhere, when a lot of the times those players are actually complements to the drafted players that you're going to be taking. And I think that Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff have utilized the free agency as starting positions and then gone to the draft and used it as a complement to what they're doing. And I think that has been a huge mistake. And you can see it in their draft draft IQ and the picks that they've made, and just their day-to-day operations, is that drafted players, unless they're drafted really high, don't get the playing time that they deserve. Meanwhile, a lot of free agents come in here and they come and go every 2 or 3 years and really don't produce a lot for us. So I can't overlook the mistakes that Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn have made. Also, and just very quickly, again, this is not to rag on Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff, but this is just to put it as straight up a point as I possibly can. Dan Quinn's system doesn't work. A lot of other teams are running the same stuff and getting different results. They're getting very different results, being a lot more aggressive with their blitzing, be a lot more aggressive with their man-to-man defense. And Dan Quinn is or was ultra conservative when it came to utilizing any other playbook outside of his. He wanted to use his playbook. He was very stubborn. He used a lot of cover 3, a lot of zone defense, and it eventually got murdered. I mean, instantly got murdered because he didn't have the defensive line to complement and create pressure like that. So again, hand in hand with a lot of mistakes, you don't draft defensive linemen that are worth a damn, and then you end up trying to run a defense that the scheme doesn't work with the players you're running, because those players are better suited for something that's a little more aggressive, and you're trying to play conservative football. But yeah, and that also brings in a whole, why are we bringing in 34 style players to play a 43 style scheme? As well as, this scheme is not even Dan Quinn's, it's Pete Carroll's scheme. And Dan Quinn has put his touches on it, but really it's still the same scheme, and you have to have a lot of unicorns on that defense to make it work, or be incredibly aggressive with your defensive line and have it, one of the top storied defenses in the league to be able to make it work. So again, I cannot overlook those things. The things that I can say that are positive about Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff and why I believe this will work in 2020, at least it will keep continuity and it will keep things consistent, is that it's one of those things, and Cookie, I haven't even gotten into Morris and his scheme and what's going on, so it is completely different than what Dan Quinn is running. And Young King, good to see my man rise up, stay grounded. I am Solomon, good to see you in the chat, my dude. Boy Bangley in the building. We're going to be doing some twitch.tv/unintentional grounding after this show, so we're going to be doing some Apex Legends. Please come and join us over there and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out all kinds of new emotes for you guys per subscription. It's funny, but the more I look at this team as a whole, the more I say the positives here are that Thomas Dimitroff is good with money. Even if we get into the negative, he usually finds ways to restructure and bring us back into the positive, and we're able to keep the players that we need to keep. Number two is that he is a very good evaluator of talent. These are things that are minor, and again, these are not going to make you incredibly happy, but these are just the facts. And the facts are that Thomas Dimitroff has been good with his contracts. Yes, you can point to Ray Edwards. Yes, you can point to, this, that, and the other as far as contracts are concerned and be like, Jamon Brown and James Carpenter, what the hell. But look, he's kept Matt Ryan here. He's kept Jake Matthews here. He made solid additions with Mohamed Sanu. A great trade afterwards with Mohamed Sanu. Alex Mack coming here and being a great addition to this team. A lot of people forget Andy Levitre being here and being a solid addition to the team. Has kept Devontae Freeman, who has been a quality running back. Honestly, has been a great development and talent kind of guy when it comes to going to the draft, making trades, getting the right people in here for Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn has also been a great evaluator of talent, bringing in a lot of guys. A lot of the guys that he has said that he wanted to drafted, has wanted to draft, have gone off to other teams and have been stars for those teams. So he has a very good eye for talent. And that is something that you can't deny. Something that I definitely will say that, hey, if you guys can have a great development system or at least a good eye for talent, you can continue to churn talent in here, and eventually some guys will stick and stay with your team, and you'll have a pretty good defense and a pretty good offense as a whole. Things that I did hear afterwards in the Thomas Dimitroff, Dan Quinn press conference that made me raise my eyebrow just a little bit. But the whole discussion from the Rich McKay and Arthur Blank side of things was we're bringing them back for continuity, for the right reasons, to keep things in the right place, and not try to fire people and start this all over and then basically hit the reset button because it would take us several years to get back to where we need to be. Is this a win now team? Yeah, kind of. But is this a team that can win it right now? Probably not, and we'll need a whole year to be able to really see if we can add the right talent in the right places and have the right scheme in place to have consistency both on the offense and defensive side of the ball. That's basically what Arthur Blank's press conference with Rich McKay was all about. The press conference with Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff was answering the nitty-gritty questions of, are we going to be in cap hell? No, we have plenty of plans to be able to open up cap. Are we going to be able to retain a lot of players? Yes, I think we're going to be able to go and get the guys that are key to this organization and keep them here. Are we going to be able to have a good offense and a good defense? Raheem Morris's defense is more of a Tampa 2, cover 2 style defense, and it works really well with the players that we're currently playing with. You can see that over the last couple of games since the Saints game of the bye week. You can see that this defense is more of a Morris defense than it is a Dan Quinn defense at the end of it all. And something that I can give a kind of a tip of the hat to Dan Quinn was that he did understand that was a mistake of him having too much on his plate, and he gave it out to Morris and finally put his pride in his pocket and said, Morris, run it. And Morris is running it, and it's actually getting better. But on that note, too, I want to say that the Dan Quinn press conference mentioned nothing about Dirk Koetter. And I don't want to start a bunch of rumors because it's subjective right now. We don't know what the actual truth is, but Dan Quinn did imply when asked about Dirk Koetter that he's leaning towards keeping Dirk Koetter as the offensive coordinator. But with one game left against Tampa, who has a pretty decent defense, winning or losing, and it's good to see Troy Mackey and Q, that guy. Good to see you guys. Rise up, stay grounded. East Coast Falcon, good to see you, my man. If you haven't already said hi in the chat, please do. I'll stop for just a second and say hi to everybody in the chat. But good morning, Rise Up, Stay Grounded. I hope you're all doing well on this college football Saturday for the college football playoffs, bowl games today. It's been so great. Cannot wait. But if you're tuning in late, please rewatch this whole thing because it's just straightforward exactly what's going on and how things need to be done and you know, the information that we've been given to us. But Dirk Koetter, I don't think is safe. Somebody has to get fired at the end of this whole process. I think good to see Real Patman in the building, but he said it himself. You don't go through a losing season and not make coaching changes and not make player changes and not say things were not where it needed to be. Steel Wings, good to see my man. Rise up, stay grounded. But the more I look at this group, the more I go, Dirk Koetter and Matt Ryan aren't good for each other. I said this when Dirk Koetter was hired. I said, I'm optimistic that this can work because they worked together before. But let's look at Dirk Koetter and Matt Ryan back in 2012. Okay, Dirk Koetter, Matt Ryan. Dirk Koetter's offense, and this is not a shot at Matt Ryan, but this is just the day and age that we're living in currently. Dirk Koetter needs a strong arm QB. This is not saying that Matt Ryan doesn't have a strong arm because he's overthrowing targets at times. But Dirk Koetter wants to take 10 deep shots a game and throw the ball 50 times. And Matt Ryan is not that quarterback. Matt Ryan is a systematic, accurate, play-action, heavy running style quarterback. Always has been since 2008. You guys can see that. His first professional pass was a pass to Michael Jenkins, a chain-moving wide receiver. And possession wide receiver, if you kind of want to be technical. And was able to go for a touchdown after we had run the ball, I believe, twice. So we had set them up for the Lions for failure immediately because they got sucked in. Dirk Koetter and this O-line, and Brian Smith is bringing it up, but I was actually about to hit this up here. This O-line is meant for run blocking. McGarry, Lindstrom, Mack, Jamon Brown or James Carpenter or Wes Schweitzer, and Jake Matthews. These are running O-linemen. These are O-linemen that want to go forward, not backwards. And for a team that wants to throw it 50 times a game, 40 times a game, 30 times a game, that's a lot of times for your O-line to be going backwards when they're not a pass-blocking O-line. They have the ability to do so, but they are more inclined to go forward, maul, get upfield, get to the second level, beat guys up, and open up blocks for running backs. That's what this O-line is made for. It's made for play action. It's made for a heavy running game, power running, zone running. This is an athletic group of offensive linemen that know how to do their job and can kick ass and take names. And Dirk Koetter is literally doing the opposite of that every game. Think about that for a second. This group wants to pass the ball. And yes, Matt Ryan can throw for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 yards a season, but when we're trying to rebuild the defense, it's not good to keep trying to put this defense back on the field over and over and let them get beat up. So if this defense was playing better, if this defense was playing at a higher level, Dirk Koetter's offense would be, without question, the right offense to be running. But this defense is not there anywhere at all. This is actually the opposite of Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's defense needs an offense to be incredibly good. But Dirk Koetter's offense needs a defense to be incredibly good. And so basically you have two opposites, polar opposites, trying to combine together to make this kind of hybrid mutant of a football team, and it's not working. It's just not. Now, are we scoring points? Are we making big plays? Yes, we are, because Matt Ryan is the type of quarterback that no matter what kind of offensive coordinator you run with, this offense is going to be average, above average at best every single season. And you can go, statistically, he had the worst season ever last year, or the season before, or, 2008, 2009, he had a terrible season. He's been one of the better quarterbacks in the league for many, many years. A lot of teams would love to have a Matt Ryan in the pocket for them, being their franchise guy. With a Matt Ryan, your offense will always be average to above average every single year. It always will be. But when you bring in the right offensive coordinator that runs things that make Matt Ryan even more special, guys like Shanahan was able to tap into that. Another guy that actually was doing really well was Sarkisian. He was learning how to make Matt Ryan into a special quarterback, playing more West Coast style stuff. And even Mike Smith, who was supposed to be a defensive guy, had a Mike Mularkey that was in here who is currently running things for, I believe, the O-line or something, the tight ends, I believe. That kind of West Coast style offense was able to make Matt Ryan look like a superstar, but Matt Ryan, even with a lack of talent at running back and at wide receiver and tight end, was able to make things work, make other guys around him look really good. So Matt Ryan is always going to make you look good. But the offensive scheme has to be tailored to what Matt Ryan can run and make him look like a superstar. And so Dirk Koetter is not that guy, especially with an O-line that doesn't fit the mold that he's currently running. So you've got a lot of contrasting pieces here. And if Dirk Koetter, and it all depends on what happens in this Tampa game, if Dirk Koetter struggles at all against this Tampa team who does not have a slouch of a defense, has a very good defense. Todd Bowles runs a hell of a defense there in Tampa, an hour and a half away from where I'm currently sitting right now in Orlando. Then you're going to look, and if we get beat by Tampa, you're going to look at Dirk Koetter to be fired. And a guy maybe like a Mike McCarthy, or there have been suggestions about like the Ravens O-line coach, or even Mike Mularkey potentially being a guy that comes in and runs the offense. You could see some of those guys come in and be that offensive guy going forward. So leaning, you said, Dan Quinn goes, I know that Raheem Morris is going to be my defensive coordinator, but I'm not sure that Dirk Koetter is going to be here as the long-term option here, even though we offered him a pretty big deal and we've got him here. I don't know if he works here for Matt Ryan as a whole. Is Matt Ryan making it work? Yeah, without question. Is this team making it work? Yeah, without question. But if they were put in a situation, Dirk Koetter's not a bad offensive coordinator. This is just a bad mesh. If this offense was put in the right system, it would be slaughtering people. But right now, we're about an average to above average offense because Matt Ryan is making it work. Dirk Koetter's not a bad offensive coordinator, but just the wrong chemistry is here. And that's just a fact that everybody in here is going to have to live with if Dirk Koetter stays, because this offense is going to need to be more of a West Coast style offense as Matt Ryan gets a little bit older. His accuracy falls off a little bit. His arm begins to fall off a little bit. And we need to rely more on our running game. And this O-line is made for a running game. So those are just things that I think, are things that I think that just we should key in on and we should be a little more attuned to. We should be a little more open-minded. Now, how does this affect the draft? Because I know a lot of people are going to go, oh my God, now we actually know what we could potentially be drafting. Well, there's a couple of things that I think that we need to think about first. First of all, Breezy, I understand that you're I understand that you got a thing against Dirk Koetter, but I know he's a good coordinator, but he's not a good fit with Matt. So that's just is what it is. If you look at this team and how it's built currently, you know that we're going to have to spend money on Austin Hooper because you're wanting to keep him. You know that Vic Beasley will probably be within the realm of possibility because I just said it yesterday, and I actually have it here right now. Grady Sanat, Tack, Jacob Tatui-Mariner, John Kaminsky, Deion Jones, and Foye Oluokun. That's your linebackers defensive line group. That's all that's left after everybody leaves for free agency. Vic's going to be gone. Davieson's going to be gone. Bailey's probably going to get cut for money. What do you got? Oh, I didn't even put, I did put Tack in there, but Tack is looking like he might get traded. A guy that's just kind of being super toxic. But there might be a guy like a Vic Beasley still in play. And I'm looking at this defensive line. I'm looking at this corner unit. We're one injury away from being devastated at corner, and Trufant's already injured. And Jordan Miller, who I know is probably one of those kids that just made a mistake. He just made a mistake with the PED thing. He's not going to be available for us for 4 games at least, and one of those games is on Sunday. So I'm looking at this defensive line group, and I go, this is not it. This ain't it. And I don't expect us to go into free agency, and God forbid we do go into free agency and spend a shitload of money. But I don't expect free agency to be the end all here. We have to go to the draft. We have to hit on picks, and we have to bring in guys that are going to work. Will this defense be enough to be able to help us get to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl? I think a combination of what we currently have and a couple of free agents is going to work. But looking at this linebacker group, we only have 2 linebackers. Looking at this D-line group, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus Bailey is 6, but he's probably going to get cut. We only have 6 defensive linemen. Looking at this corner group, we only have about 4 or 5 corners. And some of those guys might have to get moved around. We're looking at a safety group right now that is 2 safeties. Just 2 with Neil hurt, and he's got guaranteed money because we picked up his 5th-year option. So I'm of the mindset that how does this change free agency for us? We're probably going to re-sign a lot of the guys that were currently here. How does this change the draft for us? I think we become a little more aggressive, not in trade up or trade down situations, but a little more aggressive with need-based. So looking at the team as a whole, because the offense is most likely going to be the same for what it's worth, outside of maybe a change of offensive coordinator, but that most likely is something that they're leaning against. Like they're saying, I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. We'd have to get the right guy. But looking at the team as a whole, I go, corner is in play throughout the whole draft. Defensive tackle and defensive end are definitely in play through free agency and the draft. Linebacker, I think, is less in play now because we don't necessarily need a lot of linebackers, but a heavier set linebacker, because I don't know if Campbell is in the majority of players that are playing for Dan Quinn. I think he's part of the minority, but that's just me personally. That's my own perspective. That Campbell and his toxic nature on Twitter has been a factor of why he might not be part of this organization going forward. There's other guys like Freeman and guys like Trufant that I also may have on this list. Tack might be on that list as well, but I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not going to make that determination, especially here, on the record. On the record, I think that a lot of these guys, the majority of these guys that we think might not want to be here, are part of the Dan Quinn majority that they want to be here. And the minority that is said that they don't want Dan Quinn here might just be a couple of rookies or a couple of veterans that they may have been here for a while and they're like, I just need something new. I would just like something fresh. Not that I don't want Dan Quinn to be back, but I wouldn't mind moving on. I think that's more of the take that we're looking at right now. So I think that this Sunday, our draft position would be locked in wherever we are. We could be anywhere from, I believe, 7 to, I think it was 16 is the largest margin currently. And so I look at this group and I go, we need an impact defensive end. We need a running mate with Grady Jarrett at defensive tackle. We need a heavier set linebacker if Campbell is going to go off to free agency and probably sign with somebody else. Corey Geese, good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. We are going to need another corner, especially looking forward into the future beyond Trufant. Beyond Trufant. Not just that Trufant will be able to come back next year, but we got to look beyond Trufant. Who is the replacement for Trufant? And maybe some of these guys here aren't that guy yet. I I also look at the safety position and go, I don't know how much longer Allen will be here, especially in his level of play and his contract. Whether or not we'll keep Neal after 2020. He's a glass cannon a little bit, and I love Keanu Neal. I met him in person. He's a great guy. He's a great individual, and I wish the best for him no matter where he goes or what he does, and I want him to do better. But I think that Keanu Neal is one of those guys that you may have to let go because of the injury history, but that won't be until at least 2020, or at least, on a trade. I look at this unit as a whole and I go, there's not a lot of depth, and one injury can put this team into a world of hurt. On the offensive side of the ball, it's a lot of cuts that need to be made. There are offensive linemen that don't work here. There are running backs that don't work here. There is money. There's too much money invested in the offense for the amount of production that we're getting out of them. Although the production has been high, it's because of certain role players that are already here running the system and basically putting the team on their back and working it. So I look at this team and I go, there's a lot that needs to be done. And there's a lot that needs to be worked on. And as a whole, I think that we need to kind of step back and go, hey, everything's open. The door is open on all and every single potential look that we have going on right now. All and every potential setup that we have going on right now. Erica Allen with the $5 donation in the super chat. Woo! Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful rest of your 2010s. 2010s were weird, man. The 2000s were weird. 2010s were all right, but they were still weird. Let's hope that the 2020s are really cool. Isn't that weird? I'm just going to stop for just a second and go, isn't it weird that the people in 1900 are the people that were like, I wonder what the year 2000 would be like. 2000. And now here we are sitting in the 2010s. So the people in 1910 are like, oh, the 1920s. Oh, my God. Here we go. Black and white pictures. And we're doing all these skits and whatnot. And you look at the people in the 2020s they're about to experience this and go, what a culture we live in today. Like that's mind-blowing to me to go, wow, the game of football has changed. People have changed. Life has changed. AI is becoming a thing. Virtual reality is becoming cleaner and cleaner every single day. Technology has pushed us towards the future. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. We've done so much, and there's still so much more to do. So thank you so much, Erica, for the $5 donation super chat. I really appreciate that. This team as a whole has to make a lot of wholesale changes. We have to not be scared of letting good players go. We have to, as fans, stay grounded and not overreact to what potentially could come of this offseason. I told people earlier this year, the 2020 draft is going to show us where we're going to be for the next 5 seasons. The next 5 seasons is basically what is going to go on going forward. Dark Knight said, been subscribed for a while now, never commented before now. Great move bringing DQ back. Great fucking move. Dark Knight, thanks for coming in. Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's where we are. That's where we currently are in this great big ball of yarn. This great big mess of spaghetti on the floor. And I think where we are currently and where we could be over the next 5 seasons, all depends on what's going on in this 2020 draft. If we build for the future, if we build for our needs, if we don't get cute, if we don't make a heckload of trades, then we are going to be in a better spot than we currently have been. YMOF Jamal 05. Good to see my man Rise Up, Stay Grounded. Been a while. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Hope your last of your 2010s is going well for you. Hope you had a good Christmas. Yeah, we got 48 people in here and only 18 likes. Hit that like button. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the content today. I really hope that you are. I'm going to be heading from here to twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. Link is in the description of the video or in the description of any of my videos that are currently here. DQ for 4 more years. It's like a presidency, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be going over to twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. Link is in the description of this video as well as in the description of all my videos and I believe also a link on my YouTube channel. You can go check me out on Twitch, unintentional grounding on Twitch. Yeah, please, no more wide receivers. I love Russell Gage. Is there anything else that you guys would like me to touch? 50 viewers in the chat right now. Is there anything that you guys would like me to touch on here before I start talking about the same subject and all the stuff that I've been talking about? Maybe go into some conspiracy theories and stuff like that when I move over to Twitch. I definitely want you guys to hit me up with some questions. We'll go for about 5 more minutes. Any questions that you guys have in the chat or any questions that you guys want to talk about on Twitch, save them and set them up or release them here in the chat while I make a couple of notes really quick about what today is going to offer, because today is Clemson versus Ohio State. And I hate to be that guy, but F Ohio State. It's going to be a good game tonight. I hope Clemson wins. I hope it's just a good game for everybody. I hope no injuries happen. I pray to the football gods that nothing happens, nothing bad happens to any of the players tonight. LSU and Oklahoma, that's going to be a hell of a game. I hope it's not a blowout. I hope they go to double overtime. That game seems like it's going to be so much fun. I believe that starts at 2 o'clock. Also, a bunch of other great games as well. Will you tweet the link to Twitch? Yes, if you're following me. Whoa! Mike Jones with a $10 donation in the super chat. Woo! Rise up and stay grounded, Mike Jones. Thank you so much. Mike, if you have something that you want to say, please let it be heard, man. Let it be heard. Thank you for that $10 donation in super chat. You're awesome, man. Rise up, stay grounded. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, definitely come and join us on Twitch. Let me actually just take that Twitch link and put it in there for you guys so that you guys can see what it is. See what it is. Da da da. Boom boom boom. Da da da. Boom boom boom. Oh boy.
In addition,
scary. Copy this, and I'm going to put it in the stream. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys so that you guys can boop, bleep. There is the link to it, and then I will tweet it out as well for you guys as well, depending on what you guys want to do. But I'm going to be definitely chatting with you guys and chilling with you guys for the rest of the day. If not, I'll tweet it and retweet it. Yes. Make sure you follow me, UNGR_show on Twitter and Instagram. Let me get into some questions. Jamal says that, yeah, bro, I've been blessed. Just been busy. Hope everyone's doing great. Happy holidays and happy New Year's, Falcons 2020. Please, everybody in the chat, if you wouldn't mind, happy holidays to everyone. You guys are awesome. Really. Remember, it's not about where you draft, it's who you draft. Chris Edwards, completely correct. Let's see if anybody else had any questions. Dan, if Jedrick Willis and Christian Fulton are on the board, who are you taking? Probably Fulton. I really like his play from LSU. He's a hell of a guy. Hell of a dude. Hell of a man. Cookie, come on, man. Don't be doing that, man. Come on, chill out. Chill out, boy. Happy holidays to everybody. Chill out, boy. How to fix left guard and center long term in this draft. I would, actually, this is crazy, but I want you guys to go check out a video that I have. The video is under, the video is here on YouTube. It is under a playlist called 2020 Draft Prospects. And the only prospect that I have in there is a guy named Samuel Cooper. He is from Merrimack College. Probably going to be a late round draftee unless he gets an invite to the East-West Shrine game or the Senior Bowl or something along those lines. He is a hell of a left guard. Very violent. Very run-oriented. Has some pretty good pass protection. Merrimack College. Go check that out. Samuel Cooper. And I have been listening to all of the recommendations about him. He contacted me in 2019 on Instagram. And he went into my DMs and he was like, hey, I'm from Merrimack College. This is my junior season. I'm entering the 2020 NFL draft. I'm really hoping to potentially be drafted by a team or picked up by a team as a UDFA. Would you do a tape on me? I said, hell yeah, I'll do a tape on you. Any potential NFL draftee listening to this right now, or anyone that wants me to do tape on them, I'll do tape. Without question, for free. Not charging anybody. I want everybody to have an opportunity. And Samuel Cooper contacted me Christmas night and said, yo, what's going on? Finished my season, my senior season, and I would like to send you my film to do for my senior season film and to do before the draft to get the word out about me. I said, hell yeah, you've been awesome. I definitely want to do it. I'm doing his film breakdown today. I'm asking him for more cut-ups and film of him. He has a highlight video out on YouTube. Samuel Cooper, Merrimack, left guard. And this kid yeets. Brazilian X Skills, good to see you in the chat. This kid slaughters the guys in his division at his level of play, which is always a good sign because that means that he can play at a higher level and have success. His coach liked my tweet about him, saying, this is the kid that sent me his tape in 2019. I'm going to do more tape on him in 2020. Cannot wait to do more tape for him. Hell of a guy, hell of a person, hell of a player. Please go check out that video and the video that will be following that about his 2020 tape. It's going to be great. Brian Smith says, DE or CB? I would rather go DE than CB, but if a really good CB falls to our pick, I'll probably take the CB just on the basis that I'm looking for somebody to take over for Desmond Trufant in the future. Jay Holland, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay grounded. Yo, what up? I'm going to be heading over to, link is in the description currently and in the chat right now if you haven't already seen it. Link is in here for Twitch. We're going over to Twitch after this ends. We're going to play some games and hang out with you guys. I might even talk to some of the grounders who are playing on PlayStation. Anyway. Falcons love to look at late round guards, especially from small colleges, and that's why I would love to have Samuel Cooper. The guy is fan-flipping-tastic, and his highlights are fun to watch, and his actual game film is really fun to watch as well. So, anywho, so let's head over to twitch.tv/unintentionalgrounding. I definitely want you guys to come and party with us, have some fun. What are we going to play? Are we going to play Apex, or are we going to play some Darkest Dungeon? What do you guys want to do? Apex or Darkest Dungeon? I'm thinking Apex. Really thinking Apex. I think I want to do Apex. I really do. Malarkey had Turner running well. Then in comes Dirk. Then we started saying Turner is done. That's the same thing that happened to Freeman. In comes DK. Now he can't run. It makes you think. I know. Leon Smith. Hey. Thinking It's actually one of my favorite gifts of the 2010s was it's a guy. He's got like this blue vest on. He's got like these gold chains on. He looks like he's in like Chicago or New York or something. And he comes over. He's like, I love that gif. I use that gif all the time. It's like, makes you think, huh? Makes you think. Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But let's try to promote Samuel Cooper, because he for 2 years has been on with me. I've been doing a video for him. I'm doing another one for him, and he's a hell of a player. So let's try to promote Samuel Cooper, and try to get the draft Illuminati to go, Samuel Cooper, because I don't care if he goes to the Falcons or anywhere in the NFL. I want him to succeed. I want this kid to succeed. He's such a great guy. That being said, rise up, stay grounded. We're going over to Apex Legends over there on PlayStation Network. We're going to go over there on twitch.tv/unintentional grounding. We're going to post the link one more time here in the chat so you guys can head on over there and chill out with me. Go click on that link right there that I just posted in the chat, and head over to twitch.tv/unintentional grounding, or just search unintentional grounding on Twitch in the search bar. You'll find me there, and we're going to be going live and chilling out there and answering all your questions and talking some more Falcons football, as well as draft talk and also Clemson versus Ohio State, Oklahoma versus LSU. So much goodness today. Cannot wait, and I will see you guys on the other side. You're listening to nothing but the facts and truth from your boy Lieutenant Dan here at Unintentional Grounding Live. Rise up, stay grounded, take it easy, y'all, and I will see you again real soon, probably on the other side of the new year. So happy new year, happy holidays, and I'll see you guys in just a little while. Peace.